I just picked up this old John boat, so subscribe to the channel because I'm going to turn this John boat into an awesome duck boat with a mud motor and a nice camo job. And right here,
look at this. Wore out. So step one, we're going to take the dust cover off. I can see this. Bingo. Step two, we need to take the cotter pin out of the nut. This one has a cotter pin. Some of them will have a little tab that you got to bend up to get a cotter pin out. Use some cutting, a pair of cutters. And I'm just going to grab it with the cutting part, squeeze it, and I'm just going to pry it out. Remove the nut. This old grease in here, it's so old it's turned to like clay. So we'll take the nut off. Alright. Now there is no washer between the nut and the bearing. Usually there's a washer in there. But I guess this nut lays right up on the bearing. So now this tire should pull straight off. The reason it's not pulling straight off is because I can see this bearing's loose. The bearing on the inside, the inner bearing behind the tire, is seized onto the shaft. So I'm going to work at this to get it off. I'm going to pull the tire off, then I can take a hammer and pound on it. Alright, when I pulled the hub off, the inner bearing got stuck. So I'm just gonna tap on it. That's the seal that seals the grease inside. Just gonna tap. Yeah, it's definitely moving. So it probably would help if I got all this nasty. Ta-da! Your new bearing is going to slide on there nice and easy. This one's not. Oh yeah. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to clean this up so that when I go to put the hub on, it'll slide right on nice and easy. I don't have to fight it. And this surface right here is where your oil seal is going to ride on. So I'll take a little sandpaper and clean this up. Just keep the water out of your grease. Okay, so my little trick is WD-40 and a piece of sandpaper. I'm doing this one-handed here because I'm holding my camera. There she is. Still a little rough right there. Might sand that a little bit more. When I go to slide the hub on, it's just gonna go right on there. So now we gotta pack these bearings with grease and install them and put our grease seal on the back side. So let's do that. So I'm gonna knock the old races out and put new races in. And what I've got here is just a piece of an old drive shaft. And I'll go in there and use your finger. You can feel the top of the race where the lip is. And then I'm just going to catch this and lean it and knock that race right out. I'm using some junk I found on the ground to hold the hub up off the ground. So here we go. Hopefully you can see this. Oh, catch that lip. There it goes. Alright, there we we go. That's both races. One sits up on this side, the other one was on the other side. So I got the races out, and I'm gonna put the new ones in. And that's not even grease, it's clay. So you can see right here, I can't see. So this socket fits absolutely perfect, and it's just a little bit thinner than the race, so I can drive this socket. This is an 1 7/16 socket. Now we're going to give her a whack. You want it to go in evenly, not cockeyed. Once it gets started, there it is. We're in. Get it started a little bit. Listen to the hammer. You'll hear it when it hits the bottom. You'll hear the sound change. The races are installed. Now you can buy the whole hub with the bearings and the races already installed, but price-wise, I'm doing both hubs. Each side, bearings and races, $10. Well, you'll spend about $40 for the hub with all the bearings in it. And it's not that hard of a job, it's easy to do. So this makes life a lot easier. What I do is I just step on that, and my 2 whole 100 pounds will force the grease right into the bearing. If you don't have a bearing packer, look at that. Push the grease all the way through, completely packed. Would they take 30 seconds? You have to put some grease in the palm of your hand and take your bearing in your hand and scrape, scrape, scrape until the grease comes out this way. This is worth every penny that I spent to buy it. These are worth their weight in gold. Look how long it takes me to pack a bearing. Whoops. There we go. Watch how long this takes. Done. Look at that. Perfect. You want to make sure that you got the right seal, because this thing will spin as fast as you go. This thing's spinning on here, but I can feel it's a nice snug fit. That's the right seal. That seal, once you place this bearing, taper side into the taper side out, and then we're going to place this, and I'm going to use that same socket to put this seal in. Don't pound that in too far. You want it just sticking up a little bit there. It's a little lower there, so give it a little tap over here. Don't want to pound that all the way in and set it against the bearing. Just right there is perfect. Before I install this, I'm going to fill up this void inside here with grease. It'll help displace any water that might get in there. Slide it on. Then we take our outer bearing, slide it on this bearing. Look at that. So now you want to look where the hole is, where the cotter pin goes. And we're going to go ahead and, this one didn't have a washer right there, which is unusual. Alright. Now, how tight do we make this nut? We're not going to tighten this nut up till we get the wheel back on, and I'm going to show you how much tension to put on this nut. Well, I got some brand new tires to put on here. These were $30 a piece. So for a total of $80, I got new wheels and bearings. Okay. How tight do we make this nut? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna snug it down, then I'm gonna spin the tire. You can see how it's tight, it's binding. Then I'm gonna back it off. I want the tire to have just a tiny bit of bump in it. So if you get that too tight, you're squeezing those bearings so tight they'll wear out instantly. So you want just a little tiny bit of backlash in there, a little bit of play. When I grab this tire and wiggle it, you can feel it just barely moving. So now I put the cotter pin in. So I think the hole's right there. There it is. There we go. Bend this over the top of the nut. You want it inside the circle because we got to put this dust cap on. And this dust cap goes on with a nice little hammer tap. Now we're going to do the other side. Just going to make sure I got these lug nuts tight, and then I'll move to the other side.